Hello, and welcome to Jenny Ray Art. I'm going to be continuing my series honoring the Japanese art of Kintsugi. This is where they take broken pottery and then they repair it using gold. The philosophy being that now that the pot has been broken and put back together using this method, it is now even more beautiful. I'll be using Bristol board again, as well as a variety of different art pens, including acrylic paint pens, alcohol-based pens, and my favorite 4H pencil. The 4H pencil is super helpful in just first initially mapping out where you want everything on the page to make sure that it's in the right spacing and the right sizing, and if you draw light enough on it, you can erase it and then it doesn't leave any scar marks on the paper or residual pencil lines. But then you can build up the pencil ink when you are satisfied with the layout so that you can easily color it in when you're ready to. I was drawn to this idea of the Japanese Kintsugi philosophy of when something is broken and then put back together, that it is even better, more perfect, more beautiful, because I myself have been through a number of traumatic things in my life, and I'm still dealing with struggles of chronic health issues, and my children also have their own unique challenges that I'm trying to help them through. And so I know this feeling of being broken, feeling like maybe I'm worthless, maybe I'm not good enough as other people who aren't going through these same challenges. But I have found healing in my relationship with God, and as long as I keep my eyes on Him, as the girl in the picture here is lifting her eyes up to God, keep my eyes on Him, on my healer, and He is making me better for these challenges. I can relate to people who are going through these same things and know that there's someone else that has also been through these dark times too, and we can make it through it. And we really should, as a people, be helping each other through these difficult times. We all go through difficult times, and we all need someone to help us through it. We're not meant to go through this world alone. So I'm also a fan of the Japanese anime art, and I use a little bit of that style here. I'm not going to claim that this is a true anime, but there's definitely the influences there in the large eyes, the block shadowing that you see under the nose and under the chin. I'm actually just a fan of a lot of things from the Japanese art styles, and fascinated by some of their philosophy and cultures. I'm using the alcohol-based pens here to build up the colors, and I use actually quite a few different colors to get the right skin tone for this girl. And that's one thing that's nice about the alcohol-based pens, is that you can layer them on top of each other and they blend really well together. You almost even have to blend them together because the initial pass on them can come out kind of streaky, so you have to build up that color. Particularly the lips, I end up going over quite a bit to try to give her a nice natural rosy color to her lips, but not make it look like she's wearing lipstick, because I want her to have this natural face. She is a little bit younger of all the women that I use in this Kintsugi series. And yes, I'm starting off here with the acrylic paint pen in yellow just as a base on her hair. I had done a similar thing in my first series where I used a dark brown paint pen as a base and then went over with the alcohol pen to make it a little bit warmer. And I do that again here, blending the alcohol-based ink on top of that. What I found in doing this, though, is that the acrylic paint pen does start to lift up a bit, and it stains the tip of the alcohol pen. I can get most of it off, and it didn't seem to affect the color too much, but then after a little bit, I'm not quite getting the colors that I want, or it starts getting a little bit streaky as it's lifting up that base of the alcohol, the acrylic base paint underneath the alcohol ink. So I will just have to eventually invest in more alcohol based pens to get some more of these more natural colors for hair and even for skin and eyes. For her eyes, I just used a dark brown for the lashes, and for the outlining, I didn't want to use as harsh of a black pen for her since her skin is a fairer color. And again, I start off with a paint pen for the color of her eyes, but later on I'm going to go back in once it's completely dried, and then I'll use the alcohol pen to make it look a little more hazel colored and a little more realistic and not quite so bright green. But I want to make sure that paint is completely dry to reduce the amount of lift that comes with it. Again, with the Japanese anime art style, they tend to do the block shading on the hair and outlining as well. Here I'm shading with that alcohol-based pen to give it a little bit more of a realistic color, a little bit more of a hazel. Now drawing in the golden parts of her where she has been broken, but she also has been healed. And I made a mistake somehow. Ink got on my hand and then I smudged the bottom of the paper. Oh, it breaks my heart. I'm not gonna let it stress me out though, because I can fix it later. But I need to be more aware of where I get ink on my hands, because you know what, as an artist, if you're not getting ink or paint on your hands, then what are you really doing anyway? Maybe I should do like I did in my very first video. I had a piece of paper towel underneath my hand so that I wouldn't smudge the pencil lines underneath it or make any transfer if I had pencil on my hand. I don't do that here. Maybe I should continue to do that no matter what artwork I'm working on. These are the Japanese characters for Kintsugi. You can see on the right hand side there I have a printout of what they look like, and I was very careful to try to replicate it exactly because each character is actually a term in and of itself, and it's very particular in how the strokes are, and I didn't want to misrepresent any of the words, so I wanted to make sure that I did this just right. And now I am inking in the words for this piece, broken but healed. Again, you can see on the right hand side where I had printed this out, and I explained it more in the first video of this series that I'm not a typographer, and so I just used the transfer method where colored on the other side of the paper, pressed it down where I wanted it to in my art piece, traced over the letters so that it transferred a light outline of the letters, and then here I can ink them in, and all the letters are proportioned properly and they're all lined up right. I try to do it freehand, and I'm gonna struggle with it. I know there are people out there that can do some beautiful calligraphy, and I've been mesmerized by those videos on YouTube, so maybe someday I'll take a calligraphy class and be better at this myself. In my touching up, I used a white paint pen to cover over that smudge that I had at the bottom of the paper, as well as any little places on the picture where I went outside of the lines. Here it is, the final piece. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button, share it, and subscribe to watch more videos in the future. Bye!